Hello, everyone. I'm James Milan. Welcome to this DPCD update. DPCD, as I'm sure you know, stands for our Department of Planning and Community Development. And I am speaking for this update, as I always do, with Claire Ricker, the director of the department. Hello, Claire.
Hello.
Welcome to 24. Let us
Ah,
hope it's a good one.
thank you. Yes, looking forward to it.
Yeah, I hope you had a little break over the holidays. I'm sure it's a distant memory for you, but
Yeah.
we're going to remind people right away why it might be a distant memory because I'm about to go through the laundry list of what we will be talking about today. And we always pack these DPCD updates with content, but today is really quite something. So strap yourselves in, folks. Here is what we are going to talk about today. We'll be discussing upcoming Electrify Arlington events, the Mount Gilboa Feasibility Study and Survey. We're going to talk about Arlington Heights Neighborhood Action Plan. And then we're going to talk about the CDBG public hearing that's coming up, a specialized stretch code resource website. We're going to welcome the new Assistant DPCD Director. I wonder why you need an assistant. And we'll also talk about the town survey. So with all that, you'd think that would be the whole thing, but no, we're going to start somewhere else. And in fact, we're going to start with an old chestnut for me because I've been in this job for about 10 years.
Mm.
And I remember that the master plan was one of the very first things that I was involved with myself on the ACMi side, interviewing folks and just kind of tracking the progress. So that's a good 10 years ago now. So let's talk about the master plan, shall we?
All right. Yes, fantastic. And you're right. It was about 10 years ago. Generally, the life of a master plan is about 10 years, and then you start to look to either develop a new master plan or do an update to your master plan. And so, what we are looking to do for the town of Arlington is an update to the 2015 master plan. What a master plan is it's a document that gives a lot of direction towards achieving objectives and goals that are created by the community in the process. And from my end, what it does is it really does give my department a sort of a work plan and a strategy to achieve, these goals and objectives. Having a plan often creates more funding opportunities for us to execute, on these goals. Out of the last master plan, we were to develop the Connect Arlington Sustainable Transportation Plan. From there, we were able to adopt our Complete Streets policy, which has left us eligible for funding to do safety improvements and complete streets improvements throughout the town. Another sort of plan that was developed out of the master plan, out of the goals of the master plan, is our net zero work. Came out of the town, really being part of the green communities, but we opted to expand the goals around reaching net zero by 2050, and those goals are elucidated in the 2015 master plan. And so from there, we've had some just incredibly exciting successes like Electrify Arlington, which has made us eligible for Mass Ave funding, efforts to electrify our own public vehicles and buildings through green communities funding, which ranges about 20 to 40% of matching funding for these efforts, and then of course passing the specialized stretch code, which will help us get to our fossil fuel demonstration pilot with 9 other communities. And also, from our last master planning effort, we did a recodification of the zoning bylaw, and we were able to develop the Arlington Heights Neighborhood Action Plan, which we'll talk about more in a minute.
Great. Yeah, I have to say that again, I remember being quite excited about the vision that was presented in the master plan back
Right.
in 2015 and how that incorporated the values. And again, I'd been able to trace a little bit of the drafting process of that master plan before it became official. And and people kept referring, well, it'll be a lot of work to get this, to implement all this stuff. Oh my goodness. Now I've seen what a little bit from the outside, I've seen a little bit of what that is entailed to
Yeah.
put all these things into action and into concrete form. Man,
So
it's
our first steps are going to be to assemble a master plan update advisory committee. And so on February 29th from 6 to 7, we'll be doing an informational webinar. What is a master plan, and how people might get involved in this update. It's open to all, but it's really geared for people who may want to who may want to get involved by applying to this new committee. So I'm really looking forward to that and engaging with folks over this update.
Great. And moving on, because so much to talk about, let's start with the Heights Neighborhood Action Plan, please.
Sure, of course. So the Heights Neighborhood Action Plan, again, which was a product of the master plan, is a reboot from 2019. This was a planning effort that was done with business owners and residents in the Heights to think about the future of Arlington Heights and what exactly could be a public plan or a public intervention to spur development up there and to sort of enhance an existing business district. So this morning, in fact, I met with the Arlington Heights Business Association to review the plan goals and to talk about next steps. And next steps for the Arlington Heights Neighborhood Action Plan will be bringing forward, not at this spring's town meeting, but we think town meeting 2025, a zoning proposal to consolidate the 5 business districts right now that are represented in the commercial areas in Arlington Heights and consolidate them under one business district, an Arlington Heights Business District, which will allow us to address issues that are important to residents, certainly, but definitely to the business owners up there, things like parking and signage and storefronts, those sorts of things. And so, we're looking to re-engage with the public about, over that plan. Like I said, I met with business owners this morning, but we will also be out and about at Heights events and meeting with the community and folks in the neighborhood about what it will take for us to bring this zoning proposal forward and to garner support, really, to simplify development strategy up there so that we can get even more great businesses and new prospects.
Well, at ACMi, we like to think of ourselves as one of the bedrocks of Arlington Heights here, so we're particularly interested to see how that will go.
Great.
Thanks for sharing that. So moving on to community development block grants, or CDBGs. We talk about this all the time, super important for the development of our community, and we are celebrating the program's year number 50. So I know there's a public hearing coming up on February 5th. Tell us what that's about.
That's right. So applications for CDBG funding closed in the middle of January. I believe it was last Friday. But on February 5th, what we'll be doing at the select board meeting at 7:30 is reviewing the applications that were received for program year 50. And so applicants will have an opportunity to present their grant requests, and the public will have an opportunity to comment on those. And also at that meeting, the CDBG mid-year report for the program year 49, which is what we're in right now, will also be reviewed by the select board and will be available for public comment as well.
Great. And speaking of things we often talk about, the Mass Ave Appleton Corridor Safety and Accessibility Project. What's the latest update there?
Great. So I think we're focused a little bit on the Heights today, but the Mass Ave Appleton Corridor Safety Project is moving forward. The Select Board approved the conceptual design for the project in October 2023. And since then, the project team has been advancing those concepts into the technical construction documents that would be necessary for us to apply for construction funding to complete the project. The project team has engaged further with residents and businesses, and especially the Transportation Advisory Committee of the Select Board and the Arlington Bike Advisory Committee to advance us to what we're calling preliminary design, which is a little bit different than design concept. So the town's consultant has incorporated the comments into this preliminary design. It's a technical document. We have it on our website. Residents are encouraged to share any feedback or questions on that document by February 11th. We will use this feedback to advance the project to 100% design, which is also known as a shovel-ready design project for us to apply for our MassWorks funding in the summer of 2024. So moving forward, we are roughly between 25 and 50% design. We will advance the drawings throughout the spring to 100% design, which will enable us to apply for this funding. We do think that we think very positively about this application and the application for funding. MassWorks has already granted us design funding, and generally in my experience with this program, if you are granted money for design, you end up, sort of at the top of the list for construction funding. The earliest this project would start, we would be awarded in the fall, potentially, of 2024, with the earliest start date for construction of this project in the spring of 2025. And I think that if it's not 2025, then we would be looking at 2026. But we are, again, we think very positively of this application. We think that it will be well received by the state, and we do think we'll be under construction in the next year or two.
All right, step by step.
Yes.
I asked you in a recent DPCD update, I remember, to explain specialized stretch codes to us. So I'm not going to ask you to do that again, but I know that the resource website is now live. So what does that mean for folks?
Yeah, we did. We talked about the specialized stretch code last month. The specialized stretch code has been in effect since January 1st. And the website, which is a resource for builders who may be impacted by the new code, which it requires all electric construction, is now live as well. The town, along with Acton and Lexington, developed this website, which is a resource for builders, and it also identifies rebates and incentives for the energy efficient and net zero construction. I think a really neat thing about this website is that it's linked through our new online permitting system. It links, so it'll link a builder directly with this information that they're looking for while they're seeking permits to do work that is impacted by the specialized stretch code. So we hope that those who are interested are sure to check it out. We are definitely pushing this information, hopefully towards the people who need it. But it's a great program, and we're looking to do as much education as possible, so nobody is surprised by the implementation of the code.
Good idea. In Arlington and everywhere. Good idea to give plenty of warning about stuff like that and opportunity. Okay, one of the things you already mentioned, one of the great things coming out of the master plan that we talked about at the outset, it was the last master plan was Electrify Arlington, and there are a couple of notable events coming up.
Yeah. So great. So there's some really cool upcoming Electrify Arlington events. On January 27th, there will be a home tour. It's called Heat Pumps on a Cold Day Home Tour, Saturday, January 27th from 1 to 3. And they'll visit 2 homes that are heated exclusively with heat pumps. One is an air source heat pump, and one is a ground source heat pump property. So you'll be able to talk with the homeowners about the efficiency of the work, get some hot cider, and certainly to get your questions answered about heat pumps, ground source, air source, what may be right for you. In addition to that, we also have 3 educational opportunities for those who are looking to decarbonize. An introduction to electric vehicles. That is a class that starts in early February. I believe it's February 6th. Then we have how to plan to electrify your home, and that will be mid-February on the 12th and the 26th over Zoom. And then in March, we have heat pumps, what everyone should know before talking with installers, and that will begin in mid-March. But all of this information and more, all of the details on the classes and the home tour are available on the Electrify Arlington webpage.
Really, really exciting stuff, Clara. And I have to say, while in my own household, we have no regrets going with the heat pumps and going with electric vehicles, going back a number of years now, no second thoughts or regrets. It would have been great to have this kind of information available. And again, that tour that you were talking about, for people to be able to see, in a very visceral way, what's going to work, what's parallel to their own property and what will work, and then be able to speak directly to people with experience with this. It's a wonderful opportunity you're presenting to people, or Electrify Arlington is. So well done. Okay, let's move forward. We still got a couple of more things to talk about. Mount Gilboa. So there's a feasibility study and survey that you want to tell us about.
Yeah, this is a project that was funded with CPA, the Community Preservation Act dollars. This is a project where Arlington's Conservation Commission is seeking input for enhancing the Mount Gilboa Conservation Area, including the house. The purpose of the study is to assess the community's vision for Mount Gilboa and is focused on understanding desirable uses for the structures at the top of the hill, while also enhancing the property's ecological and conservation value. We launched a feasibility study in December with two very well-attended public events, mostly attended by residents of the Mount Gilboa neighborhood, which makes a lot of sense, but we encourage folks from all over Arlington to submit comments related to this project. And they can do that via a survey that we have recently launched. The deadline for participation in that survey is the 31st of January. I really do hope people will take it. The link to the survey is at the top of the Conservation Commission and the planning web pages currently.
Excellent. And talking about surveys, the annual town survey is now open.
That's right. For our survey taking public, we have a lot of opportunities to get some feedback here. This is the annual town survey is now available online. It'll be open through March 4th. The survey questions this year are, we're asking residents to reflect a little on tourism and economic development, home energy and efficiency, recycling, composting, and more, of course. So we do encourage folks to take that. It's a valuable opportunity to submit feedback to the town. We do use the data that we get from that survey in our work very frequently. So please, by all means, take the townwide annual survey.
All right, and Claire, you're not going to believe it, but we reached the last item on the, on the list, at least as far as I'm concerned. And we often like to end our updates on an uplifting note of this sort, and that is to welcome a new member of the planning department, and I would think of particular significance for yourself.
Yes, I am thrilled to welcome Sarah Suarez to the Department of Planning and Community Development as the Assistant Director. This is the first time that this office has been fully staffed in 2 years. And so it's a great chance for me to see, what we can do as a group and what we can accomplish as a department. And Sarah comes to us as a longtime realtor in Arlington, worked for Bose Realty, knows the Arlington market, knows Arlington property. And prior to that, she was a planner in Florida and worked for years as a professional planner there. So it's really, she is just best of both worlds for us in terms of being able to understand the market, understand the housing situation here in Arlington, while also offering such a great, viewpoint as a planner. And so I am very excited to have her here. We're re-engaging with so many things, affordable housing and, other housing related issues. And just really so happy to have her here and have her get started.
Well, welcome to Sarah, and like as you just said, fully staffed for the first time in your tenure, it sounds like, and
Yes.
good for you. I imagine now you'll have nothing to do but prepare for these DPCD updates, right?
Yes, that's right.
All right. Well, anything? Is it possible that we could have missed anything? I don't think so, but let me
Nothing
ask.
at this time. If I've missed anything, I'll come back to it next month.
Fair enough. With that, we are going to end what is close to a 20-minute update here, and that's a lot of content, folks. Thanks for hanging in there. Thank you, Claire. I've been speaking with Claire Ricker, the director of our Department of Planning and Community Development, or DPCD, for this DPCD update. I am James Milan. We really do appreciate Claire's time and yours, and we will see you next time.